So, Alan, we've had results out today from BP, but also increasing concerns about sanctions in Russia and what impact that would have on BP. BP, of course, owns a 20% stake in Rosneft, the Russian energy company. So what might the impact be if there were more sanctions on Rosneft?
Well, I guess it's just been building, right? It would be marginally worse than it's already been. Let's put it into context. First of all, on a day when BP reported better than expected results, shares went up and then they went down. And so far they're down on the day. And I think that is all part of the process of sort of discounting the impact of sanctions on Russian companies, which include Rosneft, and that potential impact on BP over time. BP has underperformed one of its benchmark indices, the MSCI World Energy Index, by 500 basis points this year. So clearly investors are somewhat nervous.
And what could that impact be? So BP has this 20% stake in Rosneft. What's Rosneft to BP? Why is it so important?
Well, it's an important part of their production. Over the next couple of years, it'll be much more. Probably 38%, according to Credit Suisse, of overall upstream production will be coming out of Russia. So it's significant. It's 10, possibly 12% of operating profits. It's important.
So it's a fair chunk, and any damage to Rosneft and anything that affects Rosneft production, which sanctions could conceivably do, that will damage the amount of cash flow going back to BP, which would obviously damage the investment case. But that's not all that's going on at the moment. We've also had yesterday this big ruling about UKOS, saying the Russian state is liable for money taken from UKOS. So what's the potential damage to Rosneft there?
I think the number that came out, 50 billion, seems a sort of shocking one, and I think we need to take it into context. Look at what happened in the case of Argentina, where certain investors just badgered that country into agreeing to its terms on bond holdings. And I don't know whether it will come to that, but if it did, if it came even close to that, that would probably put pressure for some sort of financial settlement. Remember, Rosneft technically received some or bought some of the assets from the old UKOS now 10 years ago. So, it is a bit of a problem longer term if it comes to a conclusion.
So another potential worry, but let's take a step back. How should BP shareholders see all of this? There's lots of ifs and buts, and at the moment there's nothing really that's affecting BP's stake in Rosneft, but how should they view the potential for trouble down the line? Should it be a serious concern?
I think it needs to be a concern in light of sovereign risk on Russia. It's an investment. As I said, it's an important part of their production. They're dependent on it. There are other projects. They've just announced a shale project with the Russians, with Rosneft. So that they clearly have plans, some big plans, as does Rosneft generally with other companies, including Exxon, by the way. So it will be important longer term for the growth of BP, and so I think shareholders do need to watch.
Well, certainly BP's Russian investments have a long history of causing problems for the company. It looks like that's not going to change anytime soon. Alan, thanks very much.